you, vocally, who are your influences? Because you sort of do a mix of the, the growling and the clean vocals and whatnot.
Yeah, I don't know, vocal influences, that's a tough one. I mean, I haven't really tried to emulate someone for probably a really, really long time. I mean, there's a lot of, like, classic vocalists that I appreciate and that sort of thing. But there's not really anybody that I like, oh, that would sound like that. I don't know, like, anybody from, like, Phil and Salmo, I've always appreciated and loved Pantera and James Hetfield. I especially like James Hetfield because he's, he also plays guitar as well, and that's a dying breed, a singer guitar player,
True.
Singer and rhythm guitar player, you don't see too many, like, newer metal bands with somebody that actually does that, around, that sort of thing. I don't know, vocally, I love all kinds of vocals. I've heard I sound like Pat Benatar on crack, so why don't we say Pat Benatar?
Nice. And, when I talk to Maria Brink and Alexis Brown and whatnot, they both, sort of do the same sort of thing with the split clean and the growling. And I never asked either of them this. How do you take care of your voice? Because I know it's harder to sing clean vocals, but I would think it's tougher on your throat doing the growling and stuff. How do you take care of your voice?
I'm the worst person to ask because I don't do anything. I know it sounds terrible, and I know that a lot of vocalists have specific regimens. Like, I know, say for instance, Angela from Arch Enemy is very, very specific in the way that she treats her voice and what she does and that sort of thing. But for me, I don't do anything. I don't warm up. I don't have, like, a specific, time where I need silence. I am a front person, and I talk all the friggin' time. I never shut up. And I don't know, maybe I've just been blessed with, a really, really great lung capacity and really strong vocal cords. Whatever I'm doing, it must be right, because I've been basically doing my head off for 10 years, and so far I have still been able to carry a tune or whatever. I mean, for me, the screaming is the easy part, and I've had to work on singing, to improve my singing voice and become a better singer. That's what I've had to work on. Other than that, it's all fairly easy.
Right. So, and it's always been the funniest thing to me is every time I do an interview, it's almost inevitably the lead singer, and I'm like, you'd think that'd be the last person they'd have doing the interviews because they're singing all the time. But no.
I don't know. Some people like to talk, I guess. I don't know. I mean, like, for me, it's like, if I'm, like, the farther I get into a tour, the stronger my voice gets, I find. And the more abuse it can take, like, I could, have a night of drinking and, be up until 7 in the morning and sleep for 5 hours and get up and then play a show, and it's still really, really good, I find, the more you use it, the stronger that it gets. And it's just like, like exercise, you become more resilient the more that you do.
Exactly. It's a muscle. You're working it out and keeping it in shape and everything.
Yeah. And like this past tour, we did like 2 weeks straight, like no days off or anything, and I was fine. So.
I got one more heavy question for you, then we'll get on to some lighter stuff.
Okay.
You guys had a bloody battle with your previous label, and for the people who don't know much about Kittie yet, tell us what happened there and how things been so far with E1.
Well, I'll start off with the positive stuff, I guess. Things with E1 have been really, really great. They seem to be, a label that is, especially with metal, expanding and growing, and they keep signing so many amazing bands, and I think they're doing a lot of good stuff, and slowly but surely they're, becoming a powerhouse label, and, like we were saying earlier, like, having 2 videos in the can, that's something that hasn't happened since our first album, and so, being able to, hear Yes a lot is something that we appreciate and we're very grateful for, and our relationship with them is really good. I don't know how much detail I can really get into with the whole Artemis thing, but I mean, they are not a label anymore. They I guess, sort of went out of business shortly after things, with us kind of, we parted ways, and there was a lot of stuff going on with that, with us, and I guess basically all I can say is that, we were freed because of contractual, I guess, amendments and stuff like that. So, I don't know, it was a terrible time, and a lot of trauma and a lot of unfortunate things that happened there, and it definitely scarred us for life, really. The band and us personally, it's just never fun having to deal with, lawsuits and business stuff. You know what I mean? Like, when you get into a band, you just want to have fun and tour and meet people and play shows, and, it leaves you very, very vulnerable to a lot of legal activities as well.
Right.
And that's the unfortunate part about, the business aspect of the music industry.
Now, back there in Canada, that's where you guys are from, for the listeners who don't know that, are you psyched to see Anvil back on the scene again?
I don't think I ever actually left. Honestly, I'm not kidding you. Like for us in Canada, I've probably talked about Anvil more than a lot of people have in the last 10 years, and I don't know if that's just because, we come from Canada or whatever, but, I haven't seen the documentary yet, but I really, really want to, because in a way it's kind of like, I've heard that it's, it's kind of like it's kind of like a sad story about, a band that never really kind of got what they deserved, and I would love to see it, because in a way I kind of feel like, I might relate to it. All the stuff that has gone on with us over the years as a band, whatever. It's like we're a band, I can relate to that. We're a band that, has never, ever given up in the face of all kinds of adversity. And we just want to, make it work and play and make music. And I can appreciate they're keeping at it for that long. I hope to be doing it for that long, too.
I just watched it myself only a couple weeks ago, and it was a very moving story. It made you want to root for the underdog and everything.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, and I definitely think I would like to go and check it out, just for that reason, specifically. But I think good for them, I think people need to be aware of stuff like that, definitely. It's not all easy. It's not a cakewalk.
What other Canadian bands are you big on?
I'm trying to think. There's I don't know, Canada's weird because, we definitely have bands that, say for instance, I live in London, and 2 hours away, there, people haven't heard of these bands. But, I don't know, in terms of, metal bands, obviously, London, Ontario's own Cyanide Bleed are a great band, and they were signed to the End Records. They're currently not signed right now, but they're working on some new stuff, I know that. Let's see, I like Cataclysm. They're amazing, and they're good people, and I actually did a guest vocal spot on in the Arms of Death.
Right.
I think it was 2 albums ago they put out, yeah. That was really fun. Mercedes and I went to Montreal and did that. Kevin Townsend, always crazy, always awesome. What he does. Let's see, there's a lot of bands. I mean, there's a lot of local stuff and whatever. I don't know. All kinds of fun stuff going on in Canada. We have a good scene.
Yeah, you definitely do. A lot of great bands have come out of there.
Yeah.